Aries. Aries symbol: your ideas are big with Mercury now in your solar 9th house, dear Aries. Whether or not they will come to be, the important thing is that you're feeling inspired and allowing new ideas to flow. Generally, it's a time to stretch your mind and entertain new perspectives. Still, today's energies are not ideal for locking something down or for crystal clear thinking. People can be indirect in their approach, and conversations may not go as you intend as a result. Overthinking things can be a problem. It's best to avoid jumping to conclusions or speaking about a matter prematurely. There can be some confusion surrounding opinions or directions and perhaps some indecision. For best results now, try to let go of a need for definite answers. Aim to be patient with yourself and others. Disconnects can occur but can be put behind you quickly by giving others the benefit of the doubt. You could be feeling some discontent with how your life is currently organized, and it can be challenging to know where to begin sorting it out. Try to simplify or tackle problems one step at a time, or you will feel that you're getting nowhere. Taurus. Taurus symbol: these are generally strong days for gaining important clues, investigating, and understanding a relationship or your finances, dear Taurus. However, there can be some difficulties getting your message across well today. People seem more sensitive than usual, more easily feeling slighted, or an excessive focus on words rather than the intentions behind them can lead to frustrations. Watch for overanalyzing or intellectualizing your feelings in such a way that you misrepresent yourself. With a bit of awkwardness in the air today, it may be wise to pace yourself. It's better to compromise than push forward just for now. Gemini. Gemini symbol: while the week ahead is solid for brainstorming, dear Gemini, there is some tendency to overstate or spend too much time in our heads today. As such, you may want to choose your words carefully to avoid misunderstandings. The moon spends the day in your communications sector, pointing to taking your connections more seriously than usual. With today's Mercury challenges, feelings and logic tend to mix in all the wrong ways right now, which can mean speaking too emotionally or relating too intellectually or logically. You may not be in close touch with how you genuinely feel, making it better not to try to explain your feelings until you truly know what they are. With a bit of extra thought put into how to phrase questions and the tone of conversations, life tends to smooth over. Cancer. Cancer symbol: you can feel a strong need to help or support others with information you've gathered for them or your advice, dear Cancer. With today's transits, it may be best to avoid concluding things too quickly. There can be some discrepancy between genuine feelings and what is actually communicated today, so do your best to avoid putting too much weight in communications that seem a little off. You may also want to avoid speaking about your feelings before you truly know what they are. A disconnect between your mind and heart is temporary, but it can unnecessarily complicate your life. This can be a good time for taking a hiatus from too much thinking and analyzing. Leo. You're in a generally strong period for ideas and communications, dear Leo, but today's energies are a little tricky. It may be best to avoid off-the-cuff remarks, as you could say something that misrepresents what you feel in your heart. There can be social blunders to manage. It can be difficult to concentrate with social or romantic problems on the brain, and it can be difficult to socialize or enjoy yourself if you're neglecting the work you feel the need to do. It may be best to avoid taking on a demanding schedule, if possible. Avoid taking mental disconnects to heart now, as the mind and the heart are unlikely to be on the same page temporarily. Virgo. The moon spends the day in the sign just behind yours, dear Virgo, suggesting the need for extra time to decompress and process. While this is a generally good time for ideas or information that boosts your personal or home life, the tendency is to take things the wrong way today. Words selected to communicate feelings may not be perfect, and it's best to keep this in mind whether you're crafting a speech or receiving one. You are inclined to gloss over issues to avoid unpleasantness. It's best not to expect to reach clear conclusions today, as definitive answers and commitments may be hard to come by just for now. You could be feeling a little unsettled, mainly as you try to fill your needs for security and excitement at once. There can also be a problem communicating from the heart, which can lead to misunderstandings. Libra. While it's generally a great time for enthusiasm about what you're learning or communicating these days, dear Libra, there is some tendency to trip over words in communications today. You may be concentrating on the words minus the human element, which can lead to hurt feelings. Misunderstandings hold the potential for unnecessary drama today, so you may want to make sure you're particularly clear with directions and instructions. Allow for extra time to rest and contemplate. Especially, aim to get in touch with how you genuinely feel before jumping to express your feelings. On another level, try not to say something untrue to keep the peace or avoid awkward moments. Scorpio. You're in generally excellent shape for ideas about money and material things these days, dear Scorpio, and you can be excited to explore and build on your talents. You can feel a bit indulgent today, however. You may want to smooth over differences and keep the peace, but there can be some missteps or misunderstandings to manage. There can be a feeling that others are not telling you the whole story, but it may simply be due to indecision or a lack of connection with how they truly feel. Aim to be more vigilant than usual with your valuables, but even more so with your words. It's better to observe than to jump to communicate or draw conclusions. Sagittarius. You're in great shape with communications generally speaking these days, dear Sagittarius. However, you may not be very disciplined today. As well, there can be a tendency to misrepresent yourself. Attempts to express your feelings can go a little wrong if you're not connecting with your true feelings on a matter, which is highly likely right now. Distractions can make it challenging to keep up or to do your best. Social or emotional concerns don't mix well with more practical and logical affairs today. People hear you, but don't necessarily see the whole picture, so it's essential to be clear and mindful about what you're saying and writing. Your mind can wander. Attempts to talk through problems in a relationship or to sweet talk could fall flat. If you can, avoid work that requires close attention to detail or concentration. Capricorn. You're in a generally excellent period for personal reflection, dear Capricorn. Still, today's energies tend to lend easily to misunderstandings. There can be a tendency for people to misinterpret what you're saying or for you to misrepresent your feelings. You may not have all the correct information to make a clear decision or assessment of your situation, just for now. There can be tricky or somewhat touchy interactions right now, and relationships might require extra attention to keep things running up to par. Speaking ahead of yourself can create a small problem now, or you may feel a little in the dark. You benefit from looking within. Aquarius. With your communications today, dear Aquarius, you may want to tread with care. While networks or friends can be giving you valuable feedback, in general, these days, there is some tendency to misunderstand one another today. It's not the best time to stir the pot, open up sensitive conversations, or jump to conclusions. It's better to play a supportive role by listening, observing, and helping. It can be challenging to satisfy your need for time out as well as your need for company or a friend's needs. Avoid stressing over the little things. Try not to say the first thing that comes to your mind for the time being, too, as you need more time to sort out your thoughts. Pisces. This is a generally good time for openings and opportunities, particularly involving career, business, finances, and reputation, dear Pisces. Today, however, there is some tendency to overlook the emotional component of your interactions in your excitement on a mental level. As such, it may be best to watch for this inclination to avoid hurt feelings or misunderstandings. Differences of opinion seem a little easier to take if you approach them from a mental plane rather than an emotional one. It's a good idea to reserve judgment for the time being. There is a general tendency to misunderstand and misconstrue, more than usual. You may end up regretting words expressed publicly or professionally today, or someone may take what you say the wrong way. Or, you're not in agreement with friends or associates about how to best move forward your goals. Breathe through disagreements and keep a professional attitude if applicable.